and I am here with the reigning Super League champion Tony Jameson. Before I start, how does that sound?
It sounds all right, doesn't it? Especially when we sort of went in with the expectation of like not still being live by the time the final was around. So yeah, expectations were set super low and then somehow ended up lifting a trophy at the end of it. So yeah, well happy with that.
Yeah, talk to me about that run because it was just quite spectacular. The tactic just kind of worked. Just talk me through that day and winning it.
Yeah, it just you're right. It just built and built, to be honest. Like we started off well, we got a win, and then we got another win, and then another win. And I was like, oh, okay, right, we're out of the group. That's fine. Like, and it was a tough group as well. Like, Viking Dan was in there and an FM girl was in. So we're sort of like doing like things that were sort of, right, it's going to be quite tricky here. But we saw through that. And then we have United City FM was in as well, I think. And somehow we ended up battering him. And it wasn't a fair reflection of the game, I don't think. I think that score potentially flattered to deceive, but it just momentum carried, and that's where we were. So yeah, it just got like that. And then, as you say, there was this moment where we went and we played Hood in the semis, I think, and he beat me in the first leg. And I was going, right, okay, he sort of knows this tactic, he knows how I'm going to play, so it's going to be quite a tactical battle. And there was only one goal in it. We went in the second leg, and he got a red card pretty early in that match, and at that point, we just stepped up the gas. Like we didn't change anything. That's the real weird thing. I watched back on the play-by-play, and everyone's going, "Why is he not changing it? Why is he not changing it?" And I'm like, and I'm looking. I'm just hands out the way. We did what we had to do, but yeah, that red card changed everything. And then we ran into the final, and Echoes pushed forward at 1-0 down, and because he pushed forward, there was just so much space to exploit, and those balls over the top for Haaland to run to was easy pickings,
Yeah, talk to me. Do you think that that group that you had, even though you said it was a challenging group, but we had JDFM in the other group, we had McKinn's and Hood Gaming and Echoes as well, who made it to the final. Were you like relieved to at least miss one of those? Were you happy to miss a Hood or a McKinn's?
Without a doubt. Like if you'd have offered me which group to be, and I'd have been sat in that group all day going, right, like I'm not going anywhere near that other group. Thank you very much. Like it was very much a them and us scenario. And then when we got through, it was just a matter of like whoever you're going to play at this point is going to be like whoever you're going to play. And yeah, like as I say, with the thing with PvP, it can go anywhere. It can literally go anywhere at all. Like you can have what looks like an easy group on paper, and you can be struggling. You can have a really difficult group, and you can fly through it. There's no givens. And I think morale manager was definitely a thing. Like playing on confidence was really good. Like I recruited specifically for the tactic, which helped. And I think we spoke about that leading in. Like I know what I'm going to do, and I know who I'm wanting. And because of that, like maybe we weren't going for the superstar picks, but we were going for players who worked in that system. And the system was very much designed around specific player attributes. And I was like, right, if I get guys who are going to do this, this, and this, then that tactic should work.
Talk to me about that tactic, because that's what I want to talk about. Because when I saw that tactic from you, I was like, okay, there's some thought process. No one chucks this type of tactic out without there being some thought process. So you were talking there about attributes and looking at key attributes. Like run me through some key positions in that tactic and what attributes you were looking for.
Okay, so in essence, it's a 4-4-2. Okay, it might look not like a 4-4-2, but it is really. Like if you think about it in terms of real football, if you've got a defensive midfielder, they could sit deeper. So why not make him sit slightly deeper in the actual visualization of the pitch? So he sits slightly deeper. The wing back's going to get forward because you want to exploit one side. So he pushes on a bit further forward. So you want a lot of pace to get up and down. So that was Alphonso Davies. He's got acceleration for days. Like gets to the byline, cuts the ball back. Brilliant. When he's bombing forward, you don't want the winger in his way. So you want to have him to cut inside. So look for someone who's got cuts inside player traits. So your inside forward essentially comes around so that the wing back gets up and around, does what he needs to do. The cheeky role, I think, is what is essentially a really good deep lying forward, but played in an attacking midfield position. So they make all the late runs. In my head, it's visualized like Paul Scholes breaking in the box in the last minute, and I use Jota for that because he's so good at that, so good at that. it doesn't look like he can play there because if you look at his positions, he's attacking midfield, left, right, and striker. And to play him as attacking midfield centre essentially would seem madness, really. But the way that he plays and the off the ball and the anticipation and the finishing, heading, decent attribute as well. He can get on the end of crosses. He actually works pretty well in that position. So for us, that was kind of how we set it up. And then when we played in the Spring Cup, which I'm sure we'll get into later, one of the central midfielders kind of developed a role because I ended up going for Pogba. And I never really thought about Pogba as a roaming playmaker. And I was saying to my child, do we go Pogba? He's available. Like, we could get him. Like, should we try it? And we went from ball winning midfielder or box to box midfielder to roaming playmaker. And my word, that man covered some distance. Like, they put a pedometer on him. He's like ran several marathons, and it was just that, like, just getting players who just drop into the right positions, like players. The idea being that there's always someone there to pick up when there's a loose ball. Essentially, is that kind of what I want it to be like. Defensively, it's strong in a base, and then it breaks quick, and that's kind of what I was hoping to develop with it.
Yeah, let's move on to that Spring Cup because obviously it was big for both of us, but
yeah.
We'll talk more your side quickly until we get to the final, because you're saying there about Pogba, and obviously he did cover, and there's something that I noticed in the final that I couldn't believe how much he was like across the pitch. Like, one, what was the challenge in that, and also in that draft, because obviously it was a much bigger draft than the Super League, and two, like, you adapted the tactic. So, like, talk to me about those adaptations as well on that journey towards the final of the Spring Cup.
Yeah, so the two you say were very, very different. Like, I remember listening back to the play-by-play and going like, "Oh, Tony's team's got no superstars in with the Super League." And again, because I normally play with restricted budgets, and I was like, right, I know who I can get for cheap money to make the tactic work. When it's a world pool with a big budget, Pogba was at risk. Like, I had extra budget, and I was like, I'd normally go for a midfielder who can do X, Y, and Z, but should we try Pogba? Should we try him? Just see how it works. And it was a risk that really, really paid off, to be honest. And he's opened my eyes a little bit. He's made me a believer that you can get something out of Pogba. A player I really wanted for the tactic is Tammy Abraham. I think Tammy Abraham would work so well in that tactic as well. It really fast, really clinical, great up front. Obviously, we didn't have Haaland this time, so that was going to be a different thing entirely. So, like, right, who are you going to play up front to try and get those goals? And to be honest, I didn't quite get the goals that I was expecting. Like, the strikers were not really the ones I wanted, but the way the tactic's built is you kind of get goals from everywhere else. So, like, Son, for example, was coming in. He was doing a load of great stuff and getting goals and versatility. So that's kind of how I evolved the tactic a little bit, by getting players who could play multiple positions. So we had players like DLC up top who was getting the odd goal here and there, but not much. But Son was like having a great time wherever you put him. He could play he could play out wide on the left. He could play behind the striker. He could play up top on his own. He was getting goals wherever he went. Odegaard, it was just built for that tactic. He fits in there so well. Ramsdale was a goalkeeper we wanted, but we didn't get him. So we ended up with Pickford, based purely on his distribution. Because again, we want to get that ball moved quickly, and we either want it sort of rolled out to either the fullbacks and try and build a sort of counter attack that way, or if we can spot something, just ping it. And that was kind of the way that we thought about it. And then defensively, I think we got better defenders this time as well. I think Tamori was just super quick in defense. And that gave me an extra level of defensive stability, just in case someone went over the top. That I was always confident that a 1-on-1 or a 2v1 was never really a worrying time for me. And I think that really proved. I don't think we conceded many goals leading up to the final, but the amount of goals we scored will take out the Don game where we hit 12, which was just like a ridiculous one. But I mean, then we were 5-0 up in the first leg. Like, just goals were coming from all over the place. And yeah, the evolution of the tactic was just rotation, versatility, and ironically, a little bit more pace.
Talk to me about Odegaard, because he was in that attacking midfield position, and you said that it just worked for him. Why did it work for him?
Oh, you know what? He's just got everything, hasn't he? He's got balance, he's got agility, he's got off the ball, he's got vision. He can play in that behind the striker role. He can play out wide as just a natural wide midfielder as well. And he had such success out there. And I was rotating him with Otavio, the Portuguese lad, who again was pretty much a like for like, really. And really versatile. So I put Otavio on the right and I'd move Odegaard into the middle. And defenses just didn't know what to do with these guys. Like whenever they got the ball, it was they may as well just held their hands up and went, just do what you want to do, lads. Like, go for it. Yeah, I think the fact that it's an expressive attack. You know, if you find a pass, pick a pass. It's constant movement, as you saw yourself. Like whenever we lose the ball, we quickly win it back, and then it's just pass, and constantly like the amount of games we had, like, which was highlights of about 20, 25 passes, just holding the ball, moving it all over the place, and then there's a ball over the top and bang, it's in the net, and you're like, all right, okay, that's another 30 pass goal, like that'll do, like that sort of thing. So yeah, just players who are comfortable on the ball, players who can spot stuff and make something happen from nothing as well, which is always a nice little thing to have.
Yeah, let's talk about that final. Obviously, you played me in it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for you, it went the other way. But it was kind of what you said reminded me of that Hood semi-final game where he got that man sent off. Unfortunately, you got Jota sent off after going 1-0 up. Then went on to lose it in extra time. So the tactic did well, because even I was struggling, because like Pogba was like your 12th man, like, because he was running everywhere. I was like, how do I get the ball past Pogba? And then
that's the thing. Like even going down to 10 men, as you say, it certainly didn't look like we were down to 10 men. And I'll hold my hands up. You had Reece James, right? And Reece James was a guy that we wanted at right back, because we know he can get up front. We know he can cross the ball well. So I may have said to some of my players, if you want to leave a foot in on Reece James, go and do it. Okay. And I didn't realize that Jota was going to leave both feet in there. And it didn't. And to be fair, at the time, it didn't look that bad a tackle. And then we all went, oh, he's gone. He's been red card. And he just scored like about a minute beforehand. So Jota was like having a great time. Then all of a sudden, he's ended up in this incident where he gets sent off, and I'm like, okay, this changes a little something. But you're right, like even then, I still wasn't really panicking. I was like, we've got something, and I've got like a backup system as well if needs be. We'll have to try and close things down. And we took it all the way to extra time, and I still don't understand what Alphonso Davies has done to score that own goal. That's the most crazy. I genuinely think it's just tiredness at that point. The cross comes in and he sort of steps over it, back heels it up over Pickford's head, which he could never do if he tried again 1,000 times. And then the next highlight is a cross and a bullet header from a corner, and it's 4-2, and you sort of go, because I even scored one of the greatest goals of the tournament. Odegaard gives the ball away for your equaliser. Just a sloppy, lazy pass, which rightfully is punished. And then we've got this 40 pass movement where Odegaard smashes the ball in from the edge of the area. And I'll take that is the goal of the tournament. Absolute goal. That is a goal to win the tournament. And then I think you get like a last minute. Davies is caught way out of possession. He's caught way too high. And there's like a big ball over the top.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, I'm like, I probably should have locked that spot off. But at the end of the day, like you deserved it, man. You deserved it. You're into 120 minutes and you've still got players who can run and you're creating chances. Then that's what it is. Like, I'm proud of what we did to get there. And it was a hell of a final as well. It was a great final.
Yeah. It was a hell of a final. Because when that highlight came up with Odegaard, I was like, right, I need to go 2 up front. I was like, we need to try and hit him, because we were playing 1 up front. So we need to go 2. We need to kind of put him under a bit more pressure. And then Odegaard scored. I was like, well, we're definitely going 2 up front. And then the long ball came, and I was like, thank God we went 2 up front, because if it was one guy, he may not have been in that position to pick up that ball. So I said, and the rest was history. But it was unfortunate. But it's like, as you said, in the Hood game, when you went down to 10 men, he went down to 10 men. You saw that was the springboard, to get back into it. And then go on and obviously win the final. So just the final question then from me, to wrap this up, is expectations going in now, because I think the showing in the Super League, the showing in the Spring Cup, I don't think this is little old Tony Jameson anymore from FM21. I think this is Tony Jameson now, who has found a tactic, who has found a way to work, and is a favorite going into this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel unconfident now, but I think there's definitely a target on my back now. I mean, you know, if you're walking in as the champion, then everyone wants to take that championship off you, essentially. So, you know, there'll be people who are researching videos of how we play and the tactic that we use and the players that we use, and great, do it. Like, absolutely, that's the thing you should be doing. You know, who's to say I'm still going to be using that tactic? Maybe I will, maybe I won't. You know, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm genuinely looking forward to it. Like, it feels strange to not be sort of sitting here going, yeah, we'll be out in the first round. We might still be, because again, that's the joy of PvP. But yeah, I'm going in going, all right, cool. Like, if it all works, we can do something, you know. But if not, hey, we'll have fun. Doesn't matter.
Tony, it's been a privilege as always. Thank you so much.
Pleasure, absolutely. Looking forward to seeing you soon.